I love how y'all have selective hearing. I said I'm hearing if they don't give us what we want, we sitting out. And that's the truth. Good.
This is the same person that literally said she didn't know what her WNBA salary was and that it didn't even cover her rent. Angel Reese makes at least $5 million a year.
Angel Reese just pulled off one of the most ridiculous demands in WNBA history. She's out here bricking layups, struggling in nearly every game, picking fights with opponents, and somehow thinks she deserves NBA-level money. And if that wasn't enough, she had the audacity to hint at a potential lockout if the league doesn't give in to her demands.
Because I'm hearing like, yeah, they don't give us, if y'all don't give us what we want, like, we sitting out.
That's a possibility.
I guarantee you, the intelligent folks, and there are plenty in the WNBA, are saying, well, you two idiots just shut up. Sit out.
Girl, y'all benefited from everything. Y'all youngins benefited from NIL.
What does that mean? We deserve more.
This isn't just entitlement, it's delusion at its peak. Today, we're breaking down exactly why Angel Reese is completely off base, how she's making things worse for the WNBA, and why absolutely nobody would care if she actually sat out. We're about to expose just how laughable this meltdown really is.
You lost 40, 50 million. You know who would clap for you all sitting out? The NBA. So they don't have to subsidize your dumbasses to the tune of 40 to 50 million a year.
Angel Reese wants superstar money, but she can't even make a layup. Let's start with the on-court issues, because if you're going to demand more cash, you should at least be playing at an elite level, right? Well, Reese is far from that. In game after game, she's putting up brick after brick, struggling to finish easy shots, and shooting some of the most inefficient numbers we've seen.
She just threatened the lockout. If y'all don't give us what we want, we sitting out. This is why sometimes you probably should have somebody look over a podcast. She's threatening to go on strike. I actually understand it's the way negotiations work in the CBA, not on a podcast.
One quick glance at her field goal percentage tells you everything you need to know. You can't be a post player shooting in the mid-30s and expect anyone to take you seriously, especially when you're the worst in the league at shots within 5 feet from the rim. Even her own fans have started pointing out how she pads her rebounding stats by constantly missing her own shots and grabbing the board. It's not elite play, it's just glorified stat chasing.
Angel Reese may be playing in the league, but who wants to see a goofy 6'6" woman miss layups? Not I.
Angel Reese is out here demanding NBA-level money while missing layups, turning the ball over, and stirring up drama instead of dominating games. Instead of letting her game do the talking, she's built a reputation for trash talk, unnecessary scuffles, and over-the-top antics. But here's the problem. None of it translates to actual success on the court.
Angel Reese wants credit. The reason why WNBA is up is because of Angel Reese. She's not getting enough credit. She did this too. She taunted Caitlin Clark. She made this whole thing.
Her history of taunting Caitlin Clark, instigating drama, and then playing the victim when things don't go her way has made her one of the most controversial figures in the WNBA. Yet despite all of this, Reese somehow believes she's a major reason for the league's growth and that she deserves a bigger paycheck because of it.
But her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlin Clark. Because she wins the national title, first thing she does, she mocks Caitlin Clark. And then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates. So she's made it personal with Caitlin Clark. Then she's played off of that.
Let's get one thing straight. Angel Reese is not carrying the WNBA. Not even close. The league's surge in popularity has nothing to do with her and everything to do with Caitlin Clark. And the numbers prove it.
And isn't she shooting like 35% from the field? Can somebody tell me who in the world watches a 35% shooter from the paint that is basically grabbing her own rebounds from her own missed shots?
When Clark plays, arenas sell out, TV ratings skyrocket, and ticket prices triple. When Clark isn't involved, attendance drops and interest fades. Reese, on the other hand, hasn't moved the needle one bit. Yet she has the audacity to act like she's on Clark's level in terms of growing the league. That's not confidence. It's pure delusion.
Like if I'm an NBA owner, I didn't get rich by wasting a couple million on something that has no chance of making money. These two, sit out. See what happens. Now, I would miss watching the Fever. I would miss watching Caitlin Clark, but I wouldn't miss anything else.
Now, Reese is taking her entitlement even further by threatening a lockout if the WNBA doesn't start paying her more. Let's be real. Why should the league invest more money in a player who hasn't proven she can dominate? Why should owners throw more cash at someone who isn't even a top player at her position? Reese acts like an MVP candidate, when, in reality, she has a long way to go before being mentioned among the WNBA's best. She's convinced that because social media hypes her up, she's automatically worth more. But hype doesn't equal value. Not in basketball, and definitely not in business.
If Angel Reese came into the league without Caitlin Clark, nobody would know who Dijon Carrington was, her sidekick, or no one would know who Angel Reese is.
If Reese really wants to get paid more, she should try improving her game first. She should focus on actually winning matchups, playing smart basketball, and making herself indispensable on the court. Complaining about salaries and creating unnecessary drama won't get her anywhere.
I just hope y'all know the WNBA don't pay my bills at all. I don't even think that pays one of my bills. Let me do the math real quick.
It might cover that. Yeah,
It
definitely covers that.
What is I don't even know my salary.
And here's the best part. If recent players like Dejanay Carrington actually sat out, the WNBA wouldn't miss them. In fact, the league might even be better off without their unnecessary antics.
No, my rent is more than that. It's $8,000. I'm living beyond my means.
The WNBA will continue growing with or without Angel Reese, because the real star power lies with Caitlin Clark and a handful of elite talents. Meanwhile, Reese would just be another player who talked a big game but failed to back it up on the court.
Actually, if you really want to go into business, you need to pay some money back. You made absolutely nothing. You haven't really enhanced the league. Caitlin Clark has.
We have to be completely honest about this, whether we like it or not. 90% of this revived or renewed interest is really based around one singular player.
Reese and Carrington are out here acting like the WNBA is raking in billions, but let's be real. The league is still surviving off the NBA's financial backing. These players demand NBA-level salaries without even understanding how their own league operates.
If I was funding this league, I'd say, all right, hold on. You got a golden goose. We all got one in Caitlin Clark. These people that are criticizing Caitlin Clark, these people that are hitting Caitlin Clark, these people that are talking as if they are as important as Caitlin Clark are hurting our opportunity. They're hurting the brand.
Let's break it down. Unlike the NBA, which pulls in billions annually through TV deals, sponsorships, merchandise, and ticket sales, the WNBA is still losing money every year. In fact, the league remains financially dependent on the NBA, which pumps in roughly $40 to $50 million annually just to keep it running.
I mean, you want to grow the game? All right, grow the game. All I'm saying is if you want to play in the big leagues, if you want to be somebody that transcends the game, you got to have a personality. I will give Angel Reese this. She has a personality. It's ignorance. It's stupid. I mean, it's really stupid.
Now, here's where Reese really exposes her ignorance. She recently went on a podcast complaining that future WNBA rookies will be making more than her due to the next collective bargaining agreement. She acted like this was some massive injustice, completely ignoring the simple reality that every professional league sees salary increases over time as revenue grows. That's basic sports economics. Instead of focusing on improving her game to secure a bigger contract in the future, Reese is out here whining about hypothetical paychecks that don't even exist yet.
I will continue to use my voice to speak for what we want and deserve as a league. Thank you. No, that's not what you did. You said me, I. They're going to get more than us. I deserve more, blah, blah, blah. Oh, shut up.
But let's address the biggest myth Reese keeps trying to push. The idea that she's responsible for the WNBA's growth.
Yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Reality check, she's not. Caitlin Clark is. And the numbers prove it. Every major spike in WNBA viewership and attendance this season can be traced back to one player, Clark. Indiana Fever games are selling out across the country, not because of Reese, but because Clark is a generational talent who has completely changed the landscape of the league.
And the Fever are going to be over 200,000 higher than the next highest total attendance in league history. Clarkonomics, my friend!
Meanwhile, Reese's games? Nowhere near the same demand. Fans aren't lining up to watch her miss layups and pick fights. The WNBA is being carried by a few marketable superstars, and Reese simply isn't one of them.
And I have a suggestion for you. Don't sit out. You have a real opportunity right now. The only time, think about it, baseball is going to go away on ESPN. ESPN is pushing women's sports like never before. Instead of having every single person with a reasonable mind say, look, morons, nobody's going to miss you. This is your time. Take advantage of it.
Yet, she still believes she deserves a massive payday simply because she's loud and dramatic. But sports salaries aren't based on noise. They're based on value. If the WNBA were a billion-dollar business, then sure, players could negotiate for huge contracts. But when the league is still struggling financially, and when Reese isn't even close to being one of the top players, why should she be getting a bigger check?
Dejanay Carrington, you wouldn't even know who she was if she didn't try to beat up Caitlin Clark in a game. You wouldn't even know, but these two clowns got together as the dumbest people in sports and saying, wait for it, they need more money, threatening to hold out if they don't get what they want.
In fact, WNBA owners might actually be relieved if players like Reese decided to step away. That would mean they wouldn't have to keep wasting money on mediocrity. The harsh truth is, Reese's entitlement and complete lack of awareness are putting her in a terrible position. She thinks she's forcing the WNBA's hand into giving her a massive pay raise, but all she's really doing is exposing how little she understands about the business of sports. If Reese and her peers actually go through with their empty threats to sit out, the league won't crumble. In fact, it'll probably thrive without them. Up next, we're going to break down why Angel Reese's latest meltdown is making her look even worse, how she's tanking her own reputation, and why she's doing irreversible damage to her future in the league.
I think Angel's more concerned about being an influencer, content creator, over being a better basketball player. This was her taking pictures, hanging out with some rappers and producers, etc.
You think you could get a bucket in this format, full court 3-on-3?
You don't think I can get a bucket?
Yeah.
If Angel Reese on my team, yeah.
Hell yeah.
At this point, the biggest threat to Angel Reese's career isn't the WNBA. It's Angel Reese herself. Instead of proving her worth through actual skill and production, she's out here making demands that nobody in their right mind takes seriously. She's acting like sitting out would somehow hurt the league. But let's be honest, her absence wouldn't change a single thing. Let's be real. Angel Reese is replaceable. She's not an MVP-level player. She's not a dominant scorer. She's not even a consistent presence on the court. She's an inefficient shooter who struggles to finish at the rim, starts unnecessary fights, and thrives on controversy rather than talent. So if she decided to sit out, what exactly would the WNBA be losing? Absolutely nothing.
Angel Reese is the most unskilled basketball player in the history of basketball, in my opinion. She has no skills. She knows that she's not a very good basketball player. That's why she spends so much time half naked and taking pictures and promoting things that have nothing to do with basketball.
This is Angel Reese, the content creator side. It's pretty clear basketball is her top priority. I cannot imagine how anybody could view this athlete in any other way. It's clear basketball is front and foremost. This is all helping with things like shooting better from the field and missing layups. She has no rhythm, just like she can't make a layup. Practice layups. OnlyFans incoming.
Reese and Dejanay Carrington made a huge scene on their podcast, boldly claiming, if y'all don't give us what we want, we're sitting out. But here's the real question. Who would even care? This isn't the NBA, where a superstar sitting out would send shockwaves through the league. In the WNBA, players like Reese taking a break would barely register. In fact, WNBA owners might actually welcome it. The league is already struggling financially, and with players demanding money it simply doesn't have, a few of them stepping away might actually help keep things afloat. Think about it. Should teams invest in real stars like Caitlin Clark, who are bringing in record numbers, or waste money on players who generate more controversy than actual production? The answer is obvious.
I cannot believe this is actually a clip that somebody put out to try to make her look good. This makes her look terrible. I'm shocked. That was pathetic. And then finally, she makes the layup. We're celebrating that? Really? Taller than hell out there. Can't hit a layup. Get in the lab, shoot 200 layups a day, every single 365 days. Is there anybody else in the WNBA or NBA that does does this more than Reese? From tonight's game, third quarter, in 16 seconds, Reese took 4 shots, missed the first 3 shots, got an offensive rebound off her own 3 misses, and then finally made the 4th. But, quote, double-double, this looks just like Chicago Sky shit from last year.
There's a reason elite athletes are careful with their words. They know that reputation matters. It's not just about basketball, it's about business, endorsements, and how the public perceives them. But Angel Reese? She's out here recklessly spilling details from CBA negotiations on a podcast, running her mouth about salaries, and making empty threats that only damage her credibility. Even her own teammates must be cringing. The smartest players in the WNBA understand that real negotiations happen behind closed doors, not on social media or in podcast rants. Instead of strengthening her case, Reese is giving WNBA owners more reasons not to take her seriously. The WNBA is finally gaining momentum, but let's be honest, it's not because of Angel Reese. Caitlin Clark is the reason new fans are tuning in, ratings are soaring, and arenas are selling out. Meanwhile, Reese is doing the opposite, dragging the league into unnecessary drama. Instead of contributing to its growth, she and Carrington are acting like they're the main attraction when, in reality, they're nothing but background noise.
You got to see this clip. Runs down court with the basketball, 3-4 steps ahead of everybody, has an easy layup, and throws it to the girl behind her. No skills.
So Lexi Hall's right here, right? She's going to come out here. She gets the ball, going to pass it into Angel. Look at this, folks. That's Lexi Hall. Wide ass open. Does she get the ball? Angel not only did not pass the ball back out to Lexi Hall, but she missed another freaking layups.
Let's be real. Angel Reese's time in the spotlight is running out. The only reason she's even talked about is because she's positioned herself as Caitlin Clark's so-called rival. But rivalries only matter when both players are equally talented. And let's face it, Reese isn't even close. If she keeps up the poor play, the attitude problems, and the entitlement, she's going to fade into irrelevance. Meanwhile, players like Clark will continue to elevate the WNBA, grow their brands, and actually earn bigger paychecks the right way. Here's the irony. If Reese really wanted a bigger paycheck in the future, her best bet would be to help the WNBA grow. But instead, she's actively hurting it with threats of a lockout, unnecessary controversy, and dividing the league when it should be coming together. She's sabotaging the very progress that could one day benefit her.
People thought there was great momentum. People thought Angel Reese could draw. No, nobody wants to watch Angel Reese. Come on.
We know that the WNBA numbers with her and versus the numbers in the WNBA without her also have a major gap. And this really makes us realize the power of Caitlin Clark, the appeal of Caitlin Clark.
Angel Reese can complain all she wants, but at the end of the day, the league will continue without her, and no one will care. She's not the reason the WNBA is thriving. She's not the face of women's basketball, and she definitely doesn't deserve NBA money when she can't even deliver on the court. Poor shooting, constant drama, and a sense of entitlement won't get her far. If she really wants to earn more, she should focus on making shots, staying out of pointless fights, and actually contributing to the league's success instead of tearing it down. At this rate, Angel Reese is on track to be just another forgotten name in WNBA history while real stars continue to shine. So go ahead, Angel. Sit out and see if anyone even notices. What do you think? Is Reese making the WNBA worse with her nonsense, or is she just another loud voice begging for attention? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.